According to new reporting, the Trump White House quietly put together a corporate loyalty scorecard ranking over 550 companies and trade associations based on how strongly they supported his billionaire tax cut bill. In this scorecard, organizations are rated on a variety of factors: social media posts, press releases, video testimonials, ads, attendance at White House events, even showing up at the ballroom, and other engagement tied to the mega-bill. What's striking is that it even includes things like social media activity. It's essentially the same type of social credit system conservatives usually rail against in China, except here it's applied to corporate America. But it seems to go right over their heads. They don't mind. Organizations were then ranked as having strong, moderate, or low support. So, which corporations were most deferential to Trump and his bill? Among them, Uber, DoorDash, United, Delta, AT&T, Cisco, Airlines for America, and the Steel Manufacturers Association. For example, AT&T once announced plans to more quickly build fiber infrastructure thanks to pro-investment policies in the big, beautiful bill passed by Congress. But keep in mind, Starlink is now making a big push for that pot of money, moving away from fiber, the program's original intent under Biden, towards satellite internet. And since Starlink's CEO donated $250 million to Trump in the last election, AT&T's loyalty, like so many others with Trump, may not pay off. Now that this scorecard has been exposed, Trump's team is openly admitting to it. One official said, "It helps us see who really goes out and helps versus those who just pay lip service. And if your company isn't ranked high, don't worry, you still have a chance to raise your score by boosting advocacy on other administration priorities, like attacking day initiatives. In other words, play along, and you can crawl up the rankings." They're calling it a dynamic scorecard. Trump, being blunt as ever, just says it outright. Most politicians hide this sort of corruption behind polished language, but Trump brags, "I have a list of corporations who bribe me. If you haven't bribed me enough, I won't work with you." Whatever else that lacks, it doesn't lack clarity. Of course, the Clintons had lists too, and the press would quietly mention it in the back pages, never as front page corruption. Washington corruption has long been normalized. The difference is that Trump is brazen. He'll say, "These are the people bribing me. I like bribes. Who doesn't like bribes?" Whereas the Clintons dressed it up as hardball politics. So, should Trump get a pass because others do it too? Absolutely not. In fact, the opposite. He sold himself as a populist outsider who would drain the swamp. Instead, he's turned into the swamp's biggest alligator. For independents and moderate Trump voters, the cracks are showing. He promised to lower inflation, yet it's gone up. He promised peace in Russia and Gaza on day one. That hasn't happened. He promised to release the Epstein files. He hasn't. He promised America first. Instead, it's Israel first. America 28th. They see this and think, so it's not America first. It's AT&T, Cisco, and DoorDash first and maybe us last. Ironically, Trump's bluntness once gave him an air of authenticity. Because he spoke without consultants, people mistook his lies for honesty. But now he's abused that image so much that even his supporters are realizing he's just another greasy politician serving donors. Look at the list again. Uber, DoorDash, United, Delta, Airlines for America. These companies have all been subject to crackdowns on junk fees and worker exploitation. Now they're celebrating a lax administration that lets them keep profiting. Trump's shakedown is obvious. Sprays us, join the culture wars, and distract the public from the corruption. And while part of the Republican base remains blind, another part is waking up. They see that government capture by corporations isn't hidden anymore, it's out in the open. The hypocrisy is glaring. For years, conservatives ranted about Biden's supposed government overreach, or Michelle Obama's push for healthier eating as an assault on liberty. But when Trump shakes down Fortune 500 companies for loyalty and bribes, suddenly that's fine. It's the same pattern across his presidency. He eliminates corporate taxes, then tries to demand direct stakes in companies like Nvidia or Intel. He threatens tariffs not for policy, but to get a Nobel Prize or even approval for a golf course in Vietnam. Villagers were forced off their land, bulldozed, and paid pennies. Also, Trump could get his resort. This isn't governance, it's mob-style extortion. And yet, here's the silver lining. This exposure cracks the establishment system itself. For decades, corruption in Washington was taboo. To even discuss, media would dismiss it as conspiracy. But Trump is so blatant, he's making the corruption undeniable. The establishment Democrats got caught. Now Trump is getting caught. I predicted a year ago that Trump's voters would eventually turn on him over Israel. Back then, it sounded crazy. Now, just check social media. Trump's support for Israel is enraging his base. The same will happen with these loyalty scorecards. Over time, his voters will realize he's not their champion, he's part of the elite, the mob boss of the establishment, dishing out favors to corporations while abandoning the people who believed in him. And when Trump's voters turn on him, they won't do it mildly. They'll turn on him with fury. They thought he was one of them. They thought he would lead them out of the mess. Instead, he's become the kingpin of the mess. We are now in the populist wilderness. Trump will be exposed. He will get caught. Quote me now, remember me later.